Hi everybody, my name is Rupa. I am working as Assistant Professor in Chevron Engineering College in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Today's subject is renewable energy sources. In that topic is design considerations of horizontal axis machines. So we are seeing large rotors and small rotors. So depending upon the application we are using, we are going to this type subcategories. So in rotors, these are relay rotors that are used to lift they are capable of turning at very high speeds. Suppose if you take a small rotors, they can spin at 400 to 500 revolutions per minute. Okay, so the wheel of the turbine can make the revolutions per minute of 400 to 500 because small rotors of less diameters are much faster rotating. And the blade tip speed is of several hundred kilometers per hour. Okay, so the speed at the blade tip of the blade is considered as several hundred kilometers per hour. It is mentioned in per hour. So if you see this several hundred kilometers, we can see that it is more than 10 to 8 to 10 times faster than the wind speed. And coming to the very large airfoil rotors, they turn much slowly. Okay, so if you take the large airfoil rotors, their spinning speed is only 20 to 40 rpm because due to their high diameters, they will if they rotate with more speed, they will get damaged. So that's why they are rotating with low speeds. So the spinning speed is approximately 20 to 40 rpm rotations per minute, and the blade tip speed also considered as when compared to the small rotors, it is 65 to 100 meters per second only. Okay, in kilometers per hour means like several hundred kilometers per hour. If you compare with the small rotors, it is only 250 to 400 kilometers per hour. But here it is several kilometers, several hundred kilometers. We can mention that. Next, we will see the advantages and what are the applications in the drag devices. Lift is more advanced. We know that lift devices are more advantageous than the drag devices. Now we will see what are the circumstances that are going on in the drag devices and what are the advantages and disadvantages when comparing with the lift. We will see now. So these drag devices, these are less efficient wind energy converters, and these always turn more slowly than the wind. Okay, so every time they move, they turn, the speed will be more slower than the wind. These will be working best in the less windy inland locations only. If there is only less wind, these are used. Faster they run, if they run fast, they will spill the wind more. Spill means breaking the wind, nothing but. Okay, so how faster they runs, they will cut the wind and moves. And lift devices, on the other hand, these are capable of profit. They are capable of giving profit from the higher power densities. These higher power densities are only available at high wind speeds only. And the ratio of the power extracted by a lift device to that of the drag device, it is usually greater than 3:1. And if you consider the same swept area, if you compare the lift and drag, the ratio will be usually greater than 3:1 ratio. That is, lift device is having 3 times more than the drag device. And these drag devices, these are capable of generating high torques than the lift devices. In drag devices, we can create higher torques. Higher torque means nothing but twisting forces. Okay, so these are mainly useful for water pumping. This is the most common use of this drag device. What is that? Water pumping. And these are less, as they do not rotate with higher speeds, they cannot be coupled with the generators. So this is the disadvantage of the drag device. They are not suitable, or if at all suitable, they are less suitable only for electricity generation, because these electricity generations requires high rotational speeds. It is around several thousand RPMs they will be requiring for the generating of electricity. So these 1000 RPMs cannot be achieved by these drag devices. So these are not suitable for the electricity generations. And the reverse is generally the reverse means the lift. The lift, on the other hand, the lift devices are most commonly used for the electricity generations, because these match with the turbines movement. These are suitable for the several hundred RPM, several hundred RPMs, and this is only suitable for the generator or alternator, whatever it is used. And small rotors, which are often rotated at such low speeds, they are connected directly to the generator. If at all we want to connect a small rotor, we can directly connect it to the electricity generation generator. Okay, so but coming to the large generators, if we want to connect, if we cannot connect them directly to the generating purpose, firstly they are required to connect to a through a step up gearing. Okay, so after that step up gearing, we have to connect it to the generators. And we are having one major disadvantage of slender airfoil blades. That is, they will not start up without first being rotated to generate lift. Okay, so as the induction motors, we are calling it as not self-starting. Like that, in the terms, we can call that not self-starting. They have to start up first by they have to first rotate to generate lift. After that rotation only, they will be start working. So for this extra rotations, that is for this starting rotations, we need some extra source of power, external source of power. So how we are starting the induction generator with the extra power, we also have some, we should implement some extra power, extra source for generating, so sorry, for rotating this wheel at starting. So this is a general problem. This is mainly termed as a general problem with rotors having low solidity ratios. Okay, so this solidity is nothing but I will explain you with the formula. Actually, it is defined as the fraction of total circumferential that contains blades. This definition and the formula for solidity will be explained in next slide, next slides, and in further classes we can go through this solidity. So just to see the definition, it is defined as the fraction of total circumferential that contains the blades. Okay, so the surface contains some blades. If you calculate the fraction of total circumferential which containing blades, it is termed as solidity. Okay, so if this is having, this rotor is having low solidity ratios, this is the ratio. Solidity means it is a ratio, NC by pi d. Okay, so this is ratio, and this is becoming low solidity ratios because the blades on the total circumferential area will be occupying only small part, that is approximately 10% less of the rotor swept area. So the rotor swept area of the wing will be more when compared to the blades occupying the total surface area. Okay, so the ratio of projected area of the rotor which is considered on the plane perpendicular to the axis of rotation to the swept area of the rotor is also called as solidity. Okay, so we can define like this also. The ratio of, we can define in ratios also, or we can calculate the just the occupied space in fractions, in ratios. Okay, so the other definition of solidity is, it is the ratio of projected area of the rotor divided by swept area of the rotor. So if you compare this ratio, it will be low solidity area we are getting for this airfoil, slender airfoil blades. For multi-vane fan type rotors, such as, if you example as American farm windmill, a typical solidity ratio is for this is 0.7 for multi-vane fan type. Okay, and for high speed lift type propellers, the solidity is actually usually much lower, that is 0.1 to 0.01. So this is the fraction we are considering for our common uses. Okay, only for multi-vane fan type, that is American farm windmills, it is having a solidity of 0.7. And for high speed lift type propellers that we are what we are using commonly, these are having solidity only 0.1 to 0.01. Next, if we come to lift type rotors, these lift type rotors, these are tampered or twisted. Okay, twisted blades to reduce the blending strains on the root of the blades. The main parts of the roots cannot be damaged if you twist the blades into a angle. So, or the horizontal axis rotors, these horizontal axis type rotors will be depending mainly on the lift only. Okay, because we are having some disadvantages, more disadvantages, which are considered to be a problem in these drag devices. So we are getting to the lift devices. Maximum efficiency here can be achieved by when this angle of incidence approaches the maximum possible angle of attack prior to the stalling. So before stalling occurs, if you can make the angle of incidence equal to maximum possible angle of attack, we can get maximum efficiency here in this condition. So in this condition also, if you get the maximum efficiency, lift to drag ratio will be also, we are getting high. That is nothing but simply we are calling it as maximum efficiency. So we know that at the rotor's tip, they travel fast. They travel faster than points near to the axis. Okay, so this is the known truth that rotor tip will be traveling faster than the point near the axis at the middle. So the angle at which the wind meets the plane of rotation, this angle will be decreasing in linear proportion to the radius. So for this reason only, an efficient wind rotor, that is working a good efficient wind rotor, it requires the blades to be twisted so that the optimum angles of incidence it is obtained at all the radii when the machine is running at its design speeds. So if you get twisted only, we will get the radius of all the machine as equal. And if you do not twist that, we are getting some variations in the traveling of the rotors. At tip it will be faster, and at axis it will be nearer. So there will be some variations at the rotor only. So in order to decrease the variations, decrease the disadvantages what we are getting in the variations, we are twisting the rotor blade. So for this same reason only, high speed machines have blades set at a finer pitches. Okay, so for higher machines, the blades are set at the finer pitches than the lower speed ones, and the ratio of the speed of the rotor blades to the tip of the wind, it is called as tip speed ratio, TSR. Okay, so it can be abbreviated as T, capital S, capital R. This is called as tip speed ratio. So once again I am saying the definition. It is the ratio of speed of the rotor blade tips. Okay, so in numerator we are taking the speed of the blade tips, and in denominator speed of the wind. So speed of the wind is, free wind speed is denoted as V here. If you see the equation, you can know the definition. See here, this is the V, this is the speed of the wind, and V tip, it is the speed of the rotor tip. Okay, so TSR is equal to, tip speed ratio is equal to V tip by V. So this every rotor has a optimum tip speed ratio. Optimum tip speed ratio is given to every rotor for attaining a maximum efficiencies. Okay, so we can know the tip speed ratio before only, so that we can know the maximum efficiency the rotor can go by working it. And these also characterize the rotors. The faster the rotor runs with respect to the wind speed, the less the solidity is required to intercept the entire steam tube of wind that is passing through the rotor's discs. Okay, so in other words, we can say this rotor with higher TSR, it needs lesser material. Okay, and they can have relatively slender blades also. As it rotates with high speeds and twist angles are required, only slight angle of attack at the tip is required if you rotate this with high speeds. And a high lift drag ratio, it is also needed to produce a driving torque also. Okay, so we need high lift drag ratios in order to produce high or good quality, good ratio, good amounts of driving torques. So if you compare the above results, we can say that high speed, low solidity wind rotors, it need good quality airfoils. Okay, so these airfoils, these good quality airfoils which are used similar in the aircraft, we have to take outside also. So these are actually these good quality airfoils are used in the aircrafts. So at this same quality we have to use at windmills also to achieve maximum efficiencies. These are, they must be made up of, good surface finish, and the structural integrity is to be necessary. The structural integrity means the above structural inner structural parts should also has to withstand the high rotational speeds also. So for this above two reasons, good surface finish we should have and structural integrity we should have. So considering these above two reasons, the cost per meter square of a good high speed rotor is very great, very high than that of low speed rotors. For low speed rotors, we are taking less quality of material, and we need less quantity of material also. So when you compare the higher and higher high speed rotors and low speed rotors, the cost per meter square of high speed rotors will be compulsory in expensive. Sorry, expensive, more expensive. If you take low TSRs, so if you take low TSRs, the rotor disc also requires relatively solid blades or some sails. Okay, so if you take this type of solid blades, the trapped wind energy will not be lost through the gaps between them. Okay, solid means without any cuttings or without any included holes in that. If you take a solid blade or a sail, the wind will not be lost through the gaps between them. And these blades, moreover, these blades needs a coarser pitch setting, because if you do not do this, if you do this, lift is stronger in the plane of rotation, and drag will get weakened. So the lift drag ratio will be less critical. So for this reason, windmills with low TSR, they have to tend many blades, they have to opt many blades, and lifting surfaces can be much cruder without causing any serious loss of efficiencies. So as the TSR, this TSR increases, so as this TSR increases, the number of blades will be decreasing. Okay, so tip speed ratio increasing means number of blades will be decreasing. So we can see in this table here, as the tip speed ratio TSR will be increasing, see here downwards, number of blades here will be decreasing. For tip speed ratio of 1, more blades are needed. 6 to 20. And for tip speed ratio of 2, they need 4 to 12. So if you see the tip speed ratio increasing, we are decreasing the number of blades. From 6 to 20, they are decreased to 4 to 12. Again, if the tip speed ratio is 3:1, like that, the number of blades required is 3:8. And for 4, it is 3 to 5. And from tip speed ratios from 5 to 8 range, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 8, we need only number of blades are 2 to 4 only. So, and for last tip speed ratio of 18 to 15, we need only 1 to 2 blades. We know that in previous classes, as we discussed before, only one blade has more advantages than using multi-blades. Okay, so this is the table for blade number versus TSR. So actually what I defined this, solidity is, it is the fraction, it is the defined as the fraction of total circumferential. So this circumferential we can calculate either at the tip or sometimes at 2/3 of the tip radius also we can consider this circumferential. So this fraction of total circumferential that contains blade, it is called as solidity. So S is equal to, it is defined as NC divided by pi d, where here N is the number of blades and C, it is the average breadth of the blade, and D is the, we know that D is the diameter of the circle. It is described by a blade. And actually it is usual, this solidity is, it is usual to characterize a windmill rotor by comparing its curve of efficiency with its TSR. Okay, so by comparing the curve of the efficiency with the TSR, we can characterize a windmill rotors. This efficiency is, the windmill rotors efficiency are usually expressed as CP. Here, CP, C suffix P. Okay, so actually this is called as power efficiency or performance efficiency. Okay, the efficiency of the windmill is expressed as CP. This is called power efficiency or performance coefficient. Sorry, power coefficient or performance coefficient. So this is a fraction of wind energy that is passing through the rotor disc and that is converted into the shaft power. Okay, so what is this? This is the fraction of wind energy which is passing through the rotor disc that is converted into the shaft power. We can call Cp as Cp is equal to 0.5 into rho into AVQ. So all the abbreviations are explained before only, and every type of rotor is having different or unique Cp curves. Every type of rotor are having unique Cp curves. The shape of this, the reason for the shape of this curve is that the optimum Cp, which occurs when the rotor blades are operating at maximum LDR lift drag ratio, that is this LDR lift drag ratio, it is close to but not quite stalling, not equal to stalling. Okay, so at low STSRs, the blades stall progressively, and although they can generate a lot of lift, they also produce much more drag also. So this much more drag production, this dissipates the energy. If you decrease the drag, dissipating of energy will be decreasing. So at higher than optimum TSR, they produce less than their maximum lifts. And the lift forces that act as a less favorable angle. These lift forces will also be acting at less favorable angles. So at higher optimum TSRs, they produce less than the maximum lift because the angle of incidence will be decreasing here. At maximum lifts, the angle of incidence will be decreasing. At runaway speed, the angle of incidence will be equal to 0. So at that time, the lift and drag forces that balance, the lift and drag forces will be balancing. Okay, so if the lift and drag forces balances, there will be no net shaft power produced, and efficiency once again will be equal to 0, going to 0. So windmills normally operate on a part of a curve to the right of maximum Cp. Okay, so to the right, curves right of the maximum Cp only they will operate windmill. To if they fell to the left side, they will be stopped working. They depend upon increasing wind speed. Okay, so if the wind speed increases, the rotor accelerates from rest through the peak Cp points, and we can use this Cp versus TSR curves for, generally these are used for characterizing the wind rotors. In many ways, the torque characteristics can be obtained. Okay, so a wind turbine will be always operating at a speed that produces enough torque to balance the load torques required exactly. Hence, if you characterize both the load and the rotor torque speeds are known, total system performance can be defined. So, if you characterize both the load and the rotor torque speeds, we can know the performance. So, now we will see some definitions. Torque efficiency. This is denoted as Ct. It is defined as Ct is equal to capital T by T maximum. This is denoted as first equation. So from this capital T, numerator capital T it is the shaft torque. And in denominator, this is shaft torque, and this T maximum, it is the torque at maximum efficiency. If you see the previous sections, what we have discussed, okay, so in previous sections we have discussed the forces on the blade and thrust on turbines. Okay, so when we are discussing these forces on blades and thrust on the turbines, we have discussed the circumstantial force, axial force, like that. So once again, recalling all these forces. So in previous sections of thrust on the wind turbines, they provides a conventional opportunity which gives, we from the previous sections we are defining the, we are getting the definitions of torque that is causing at the shaft power. Okay, so at this stage there is no attempt made to analyze any angular moment, what the twist of the angle is in the shaft. So what is the, we did not also analyze the angular moment exchange between the air and the turbine also. If the turbine turns one way, the air must be turning the other, right? So if we full analyze, we will get the other calculations in the wind also. So when we are fully analyzing, we have to consider the air circulation down wind turbine also. The maximum conventional torque T, capital T, on the turbine rotor, it is occurring if the maximum thrust, that is the force, could somehow be applied at the blade tip further from the exhaust. So if this force, if this maximum force will be applying on this, we will get maximum torque there. So if you consider for a propeller turbine of radius r, we can define T maximum torque is equal to F maximum into R. T is equal to force into radius. So if you take the maximum torque, force will also be maximum here. So T maximum is equal to F maximum into R. So I am giving equations, numbers to the equations, go through them also. So this is CT torque coefficient, it is first equation, and this torque maximum, it is the second equation. After that we will use these equations also for further calculations of terms. So T is equal to F into R. Again we know that F maximum force is equal to half rho A1 area and wind velocity VI whole square. Not whole square, square. So if you substitute this F value in the above equation, if you substitute this third equation in second equation, you will get the fourth equation as T maximum is equal to half rho A1 V1 or VI square, both are equal here, into R. The left one is R. So for the working machine it is producing a shaft torque T, the torque coefficient CT, what we have discussed before, it can be defined from this, from the first equation, we can define the torque coefficient CT as T is equal to, here we can write from first equation, T is equal to CT into T maximum. T is equal to CT into T maximum. Okay. So this lambda, this is called as speed ratio lambda. It is defined as the ratio of outer blade tip speed Vt to the unperturbed wind speed V. So Vi. So this is unperturbed wind speeds Vi. So this is the ratio of both. So lambda is equal to Vt by Vi. So Vt can be written as R into double omega, where R is the outer blade radius and omega it is the rotational frequency. So the ratio of outer blade tip can be, Vt can be written as R into omega, radius into rotational frequency. Okay, so from equation 4, see, from equation 4 in previous slide here, this is the fourth equation. So from equation 4, substituting for R here. Okay. So substituting for R here, R is equal to lambda into Vi by omega we can write. Okay. So in place of R, I can write R is equal to, see here, lambda into Vi divided by omega, right? So if I substitute this R value in equation 4, I will get T maximum. T maximum is equal to T maximum in previous C. T maximum is this one. T maximum is this one. So in place of R, I am substituting before what I said, lambda into Vi by omega. So overall T maximum becomes here. Overall T maximum will be attaining rho into AVI square by 2. Up to this is the into R. It is the T maximum. So R in place of R, Vi into lambda by omega I am substituting. So up to this here, rho into A into Vi square into Vi by 2. Okay. So up to this we can call it as PA. Okay. This is the power in the wind. So up to this, and other than lambda by omega, and remaining term can be called as PA. This is power in the wind. So this power in the wind, it is discussed in before sections only, where when I have said forces on the